The European Union considers it very important for civil society really to have a voice, to be provided with capacity building, strengthening whenever appropriate. And we felt that here in Fiji, particularly after the parliamentary elections in September 2014 and the process of strengthening democracy, consolidating democracy in Fiji, that it was an important initiative that we should support, really an initiative that made civil society, let's say, conscious of the opportunities that it had to make people's voices heard.
The Strengthening Citizen Engagement in Fiji Initiative, better known as SCEFI, is a 3-year initiative implemented by the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and funded by the European Union. The aim of SCEFI is to strengthen sustainable developments in Fiji by enabling the citizens of the country to engage in nation building through community-based activities and improved service delivery that will help build a better future.
This project is a very good example of how the United Nations exercises its role as a convener, as a connector, as a facilitator. Sometimes we do it between countries. In this case, we do it within a country. And this is, I think, a very good model to sometimes bring people into a room, to bring them together when it's sometimes a little bit difficult, when they don't have either the opportunity or for different reasons it becomes difficult.
With support from SCEFI, the Fiji Women's Rights Movement, FWRM, launched Grow, Inspire, Relate, Lead and Succeed, better known as Girls, a program for 10 to 12-year-old girls. Through a series of workshops, 35 girls came together to share their stories.
The major thing that came out from that workshop was the bullying. The girls specifically came out and told us that bullying was still happening. One of the major issues that they were still trying to get used to, trying to challenge their own perspective over this issue of bullying. It was happening in their own surrounding, like happening in school, happening in their community. So that was something that came about. And then you have other issues like violence against girls. So for the girls themselves to share that, it was quite powerful. Not only that we as facilitators was empowered from their stories, but them sharing their own stories. It also gave, also empowered the other young girls who are going through similar situation to speak up about it.
Digital storytelling was a major feature of the workshop, where the girls were guided through a story that was significant to them. Rosalind Sidal, a participant of the girls program, found the workshop helped build her confidence.
After going through the digital storytelling, now I think that I've helped build up more confidence. I've been more informed by watching the other girls' story, and I've also known that the rights that we have, girls, and the things that we can do to help other girls. Because for us, being part of the girls program, we are acting as the voices of the other young girls who are there in their community.
The Nari Shakti Women's Club was founded by a housewife whose members comprise mostly women who are housewives. The club is about empowering women to gain confidence in dealing with a range of critical issues, one of which is domestic violence.
Women empowerment means Nari Shakti in Hindi. So since I have got this name, and I was really eager to empower women, to know their rights, what a woman's right is. Because despite being education, if you don't know what a human right or a woman's right is, human does not have any value. So this is why I had this name.
The predominantly Indo-Fijian communities in the rural informal settlements have long felt disempowered and marginalized. With the support of SCEFI, a workshop was held that brought women together with support from the men in the community.
But rest of my members in my villages, they were not really aware what a workshop means. So since we had that grant from UNDP, so we organized a workshop for 3 days. There were about more than 300 people within those 3 days who attended the workshop. And it's a great pleasure in telling or in sharing that whoever attended the workshop, some of them are just the first time to attend the workshop.
I think this is the very special aspect of this particular project, the citizen engagement project, because if you're not empowered to allow yourself, first of all, to put out your views and to feel that it's okay to express yourself, then you can't, then you can't even get to the point where somebody tells you, well, maybe you shouldn't say this or you shouldn't say that. You have to be encouraged that to form your ideas and to express them.
In 2015, SCEFI initiated a 3-step leadership training and dialogue on the island of Rotuma, north of Fiji, home to a small indigenous ethnic group called Rotumans.
To be able to see the work that SCEFI was doing, particularly with youth in Rotuma, was very much an eye-opener to me. As you can imagine, Rotuma, being very distant from the rest of Fiji, does have particular challenges in terms of the development of the economy, in terms of communication, in terms really of the empowerment of young people.
SCEFI's initiative in Rotuma resulted in new learning on many levels for its participants.
During my time on the island, I kept reminding the chiefs that we've got to involve the youths in decision making because of the fact that these are our future leaders of tomorrow. Now, rather than marginalizing them and keeping them in the background, we've got to get them in. So I'm glad that the program addressed that issue as well. So it's good to see that the Ministry of Youth has got a number of other programs to engage the youths in improving interaction within the community, thus improving the leadership potential of not only the present incumbents, but those who will be stepping into their shoes in years to come.
The training and dialogue sessions among district chiefs and community leaders provided the ability for people to listen and involve others in decision-making.
I think leadership is one of the key components, or the promotion, the development of leadership, because without leaders, civil society does not have an effective voice. Without leaders, civil society can really lack cohesion. So to be able to provide support, particularly to those people who have leadership qualities but don't really have the experience or the expertise, to go forward in different public roles, I think is a key element of the program that we've been supporting.
Well, SCEFI achieved a lot, and I'm very thankful to Osnat, Sonia and the team for what they eventually achieved in their last rounds of talks. I'll give you an example. There was a particular district now that was in the process of selecting their new chief, the paramount chief of that particular district, and because of the fact that there were those tension with the different clans, they got the leaders of these clans to come and sit down and talk with them, and in the end I was so happy that they decided that they were going to agree on a particular candidate, and that worked. It goes to show that SCEFI program works.
The Pacific Center for Peacebuilding, PCP, is an organization working to transform, reduce and prevent conflict in the Pacific region. Between 2011 and 2013, PCP implemented 2 governance strengthening programs in Vanua Levu in the north of Fiji.
We scoped, we did baseline surveys, and then we processed that data to determine what the largest areas were that needed the most assistance. And so several major thematic areas were identified, and we then worked on finding out regionally where the needs for those things were the most. So we selected communities accordingly so that the benefits of any program that we implemented would be as far-reaching and as intense as possible.
Facilitating meetings and engaging with government representatives to address the common needs of the communities was one of the key elements of the training. Community representatives highlighted a series of problems requiring assistance, which included the lack of proper roads and basic services such as medical facilities and lack of access to safe drinking water.
Once they were able to identify those common needs, we then sat with them to then talk to them about how government operated. PCP was able to work with key stakeholders like the Provincial Office, the Commissioner's Office, which allowed us to bring together government representatives on the one hand and village representatives on the other.
In September 2016, PCP organized the Peace Conference, bringing together various stakeholders to engage and discuss various topics related to peace building.
The important message that we were trying to send out through the Peace Conference was that conflict is something that occurs every day, that we need to address, and it's happening here. But we also have the power in our hands to resolve that peacefully.
In 2013, Pacifica Voices, a youth choir based at the University of the South Pacific, launched the Mana Choral Festival, an innovative arts-based program involving participation of students from rival high schools.
Well, the Mana Choral Festival is about bringing together the young people in the secondary schools and high schools here at Fiji, and really using the arts, in this case music, as a tool to really inspire them to further whatever career or goals they have. So one of the great things about the Mana Choral Fest is that regardless of schools you're at, and because a lot of schools have they have competitions where they compete against each other, this Choral Fest is about coming together, singing as one.
Join the celebration, joy, 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 deep in my soul.
The festival brought together students from rival schools and provided the opportunity for them to interact within a conducive environment using music and songs.
The response was huge. It was a lot of really proud parents, and the parents can see the change in the young people, because we have like a 3-week period of rehearsals. So you see these really fragile, vulnerable young people who come and saying, listen, what are we doing here? But at the end, when you see them on the stage in the final performances, they're smiling, they're confident, and they're embracing who they are. So for us, that's being the reward for us, and the parents see that, and the families see that, and so does the community.
Music and the arts are powerful mediums for addressing social issues and influencing social change. The Mana Choral Festival was an important example of the way in which conflicting parties can be brought together to engage in dialogue through the arts. In this case, songs and music were the tools.
I'm just really grateful for UNDP for what they've given to the young people, and we need more of that kind of funding for the youth, because in Fiji it's hard to find these initiatives that are pro-youth that really add something unique to them, but we need more arts as well in Fiji.
SCEFI's small grant scheme has supported over 40 organizations and community-based groups in Fiji. The grants have supported a wide range of national and local level community groups and non-government organizations with particular focus on women and youth. SCEFI has partnered with different government ministries, including the Prime Minister's Office, as well as the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, Ministry of Itoke Affairs, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
It's still extremely useful to have more such opportunities for projects like SCEFI to be the facilitators, the connectors at this time in Fiji. And my hope is, and certainly my commitment is that for UNDP we shall be continuing to look for opportunities to incorporate what we've learned, those same strategies, into other projects, and indeed, to the extent possible, to develop a follow-up phase that will take this work further.